Connie said something there, and I couldn't make out a lot of what she said, but she said, shut the door. That's what this minister is doing to children who have special needs and who need resource hours. He's shutting the door on them to send them to school. I have a great concern for the whole system. We as school management authorities have to have our applications into the local SNA, the Special Education Needs Organiser, to give them their title. The allocations are in the middle of March, and they are given out this week, or last week, sorry, in the middle of June, when schools are on holidays, when doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists who do the reports are also on their annual leave. This is unfair on you as parents, because you're left in limbo not knowing what will happen to your child for the following academic year. It is cynical because, as we know, things fade into the background over a period of time. I call on you to unite, to stay strong, attend the meetings, the protests. It's the only way we're going to reverse these savage cuts. The government hope that over the course of this summer, that this will fade away, that you guys will go away, that you guys will become quiet, and in September we'll return to school with the cuts in place, and then they'll say at the end of September, well, you've survived for a month. You don't need the allocation reversed. Schools are surviving, because that's what schools do. They survive. They try to do the best they can for your kids, and they survive. And that's what this government is depending on. So I say, we say no more. I'm honoured to be asked to speak to you as a school principal and give you an insight from the school perspective. I would like to state that I'm well aware of what you as parents are going through. I was very fortunate to have a sister who had special needs. Angela was physically and mentally handicapped, and she taught me more than any degree that I have. She educated me about life. I discovered what unconditional love was, and the children we have in our schools are an integral part of our school community. SNAs are an integral part of the education system in this country. The work they do, no financial remuneration will compensate for it. The work they do for children with special needs, no speech here could serve it any justice or determine the value it holds. These are very special people, and they deserve the proper recognition for the work they do. Our SNAs, and I speak personally about the two schools that I've worked in, are walking saints. They do so much for the children in their care, and indeed so many other children in the school. Students in general feel safe with these people, and they'll often confide in them. An SNA's work cannot be measured by 32 hours a week. It cannot be measured by what they do. They're a massive support to me, to the children in the school, to your children who need them. Yet every day, a complete stranger walks in, called a senior, into the school, and they determine over the period of a couple of hours what allocation the school will have for the following September. Whether the SNA will retain their job or not. A couple of hours to determine this for 12 months. Now, who needs to grow up here and who needs to cop on? This government. How could someone who has no experience of each individual child make such a serious decision in such a short space of time? There was a time when we as principals sat with a CNO and our word was taken on board, and part of what our input would have gone to decision. That no longer holds any footing. They don't listen. It's all down to the report. Access. This famous word, no child is entitled to a full-time SNA. They all have access. I speak here now solely about the second level system. How can an SNA be in two classes at opposite ends of the school at the same time with 2 children. That is not physically possible. How can an SNA determine who has the most significant needs at any particular time? How can, and they say it's up to school management to delegate, how can I tell an SNA who is the more deserving of the care today? Each and every individual student deserves that care. Well, I tell the CNO here this evening, with the cuts she's putting into Carrigallen, I personally refuse to make that decision. I have a letter drafted, and I am demanding that she states who will get priority, and that she will indemnify the school in the event of an accident. They tell us there are no incidents on record. Why are there no incidents on record? Because of the Trojan work that are done by the special needs assistants who know the children in their care so well that they will take them out of the situation before anything happens and take them to a place where they're safe and care for their needs. And I speak directly to the SNAs here this evening. What is your reward for that? Well, there are no incidents, the CNO said, so we don't need you anymore. And then she tells me, well, if there's an incident next year, we'll carry out a review. It's fine and well carrying out a review, but what happens if the child who something has happened to their self-confidence has been destroyed, because something like that will go so much harder on them than it will on those of us that are lucky enough to be in the full of our health. What happens if they refuse to go to school? You, as parents, will be left to pick up the pieces that evening when the child goes home destroyed and distraught after something had happened, because our local CNO here in Leitrim didn't think it appropriate to give you as parents the support and the needs that your child needs and deserves. We read the reports that come back to the school. The word diminishing is a very dramatic word in the life of a CNO. Diminishing needs, diminishing care needs. I had a CNO once upon a time had the audacity to write a letter about a student who was in a wheelchair that had diminishing care needs. Now, I haven't met a student in a wheelchair yet that has had diminishing care needs. Such a statement to give, and for me to try and pass on to a parent. How dare they? Their role is to support your child, to support you as a parent, to support the schools. Parents, as educators, we are honest with these people, but they are certainly not honest with us when they come and they make these cuts and they do not tell you about it until it appears on the NCSE website. It's time the parents, what you have to say is heard. It's time for this government to roll back on the cuts and give your children, our children, what they're entitled to in order to survive in mainstream education. You place your children in our care, and I'm afraid it's coming to the stage that schools like mine are going to be in a position that we cannot guarantee your child a safe environment you want them to be in. The resources are no longer there. The law rightly states that your child is entitled to be in mainstream education, but now without adequate resources in order to give them the best experience possible in our education system. I can promise you here as principals, we will continue to do all we can to support you in this struggle. I apologise to many of you here this evening that are very worried about the future of your children for next September. I implore you to continue to stand together, to fight the fight. Be prepared for the long road. The government, the NCSE, the CNO, they hope that you'll go away over the summer. Stand together. Your children need you. The schools need you. We cannot let them win. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak.
Thank you very much, Declan. That's one of the finest teachers I've met in my many years around Leitrim, Cavan, Longford and Roscommon. Thank you, Declan. I'll hand you over to Ann Pollock, who's on our Parents Association in Carrigallen.
Good evening, everybody. On behalf of the Parents Association, Carrigallen Vocational School, we stand alongside Maura Williamson and her organisation, Parents of Children with Special Needs, in their voluntary work, representing all parents and persons with special needs and disabilities, regardless of their diagnosis or age. Parenting is a difficult job, but why are parents with a child with special needs asked to take to our streets today and fight for the right to have proper support for their child in our education system? This is wrong and has to stop. We urge our political people here today, and every person here today, to no longer tolerate this injustice. Become vocal and support these children in their fight to an education, independence and our future. The cap on SNAs affects every parent who has a child in school. The mixing of children with special needs in our school setting is a very important one. Peers and teachers are being educated and learning new ways. We thank you all for your support here today and ask you to continue to put pressure on our government to make the path of a child with special needs in education a smooth one. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anne. Now, I have a very brief thank you to all of you here this evening who came out to support us. That's a tremendous support to me and to all the parents that I represent. Thank you. I want to thank Philip McIntyre of the Cornwall Theatre here on sound with me, Tony Fahy on graphics with the posters, and Abby Set in Cavan, who sponsored the posters for me here. I want to, yes, go ahead. I want to thank everybody for the hundreds of Facebook messages, texts, emails of people who are on holidays who are not here with us this evening. But I know if we did this again, they'd be here to support us. We're not going away. If we have to come back here at the end of August or September, I need your support. Thank you so much. We now go to the County Council offices. We exit back here and we walk silently to the County Council offices behind us as a symbol. There's nobody there, but as a symbol against our government of what they've put us through at the moment. I thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the evening and you spend it around Carrick and Shannon. Thank you.